We have been studying, looked at Moses, studied about Moses and his character. The character of Moses, I believe, is a character that many of us can emulate. Um, Moses, yes, was human, but he exemplified godly character. So we want to continue on that um, phase on tonight, especially when dealing with difficult people. Anybody ever had to deal with difficult people?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not just talking about the person, that smacks gum in your next cubicle. That's annoying, but talking about folks that take that last nerve that you got, that last one, and they do jump rope with it. They just start jumping on it. That's the last nerve. They start jumping, getting on your last nerves. Try to take all the last bit of joy that you got. That's the people that I'm talking about. Anybody got a child that your patience is not, it takes all your patience and not to choke them. Sometimes I might want to choke mine. Y'all gonna have to help me pray. Pray for me. Some folks on your job, some folks in the church, folks in your board that you just, having difficulty with. Takes time, takes patience. Anybody know some folks who intentionally plot to take revenge against you? Anybody ever had that experience, that folks who would do all they can to plot your demise? Yeah. And I think these folks are most difficult to deal with because we can't get rid of them. They're your family. You can't get rid of your family. You can't get rid of your children. You can't do it. I don't care how bad they get on your nerves. They are church folks. You church with them. You work with them. You ain't getting rid of them. They just around. I think that that can be difficult for a lot of us because it seems like I can't anywhere I can go to get it out of here. But also, like I said in my testimony, y'all pray for me on my job, as people are intentionally being opposers of what's being put in place. Has anybody ever been in that situation and just felt like, God, if you don't do something, I'm about to quit. God, if you don't, I'm about to quit my job. I'm about to quit this relationship. I'm about to quit this marriage. I'm about to quit on my child because I didn't talk to him and I didn't pray with him. It ain't nothing. God, I'm about to quit on the church. I'm about to leave. Anybody ever been there? I'm sure. Anybody been in the church 2 years or more? Say, you know what? Y'all can have this. Y'all can. Here you go. Y'all can take it. Anybody ever find yourself in that position where, you really about to quit something that, maybe you ain't supposed to because you ain't seen God move? Well, if you find yourself in that position, can I offer you a word of advice? And that is to fall on your face. Fall on your face. Matter of fact, that's the title of tonight's study. Fall on your face. When you hear fall on your face, what do you think of? what do you immediately think about?
Well, what comes to my mind is man's extremity is God's opportunity.
Okay. You deep. That works. But even more literally.
That means when you're up against the wall,
Okay.
that's when you lean on God the most.
Okay, lean on God. All right. I can take that one. Lean on God. What else?
You know, when you're falling on your face, it's really humility. You know, kind of a next level humility. You know, a lot of times you get down on your knees and pray, but when you get down on your face, you're taking it to another level.
Yeah. I'm tired of your Bible scholars taking over my Bible study, but I'm going to teach anyway. But that's exactly right. How about even more literally, falling on your face is embarrassment. Like you trip and fall. Anybody ever fell on your face or seen somebody fall on your face, and it's quite embarrassing. It's quite humiliating. I mean, you know. But being humiliated is a foundation of humility, as Brother Holland was saying. Falling on your face means laying prostrate before God, whether in public, in private, or in public. Falling on your face, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Laying prostrate can feel humiliating, you know, laying in front of people just on the ground. But also says that laying prostrate before God means that you're willing to be humiliated. You're willing to be humbled before God and others. Anybody willing to be humbled before God?
Mm-hmm.
Because I would suggest that if you're not willing to be humbled before God, then those difficult people will constantly take your joy, the joy that you got, and all the joy that you will ever have. If you're not willing to humble yourself before God and man, those people, those difficult situations will continually take your joy. You can't get around it. And the only way to take back your joy, I wish I had somebody to know that people can take your joy. I mean, they can try, you know what I'm saying? That they can influence you. They can put you in space for your joy. The only way we can get our joy back is being able and to succeed in these difficult spaces. The only way we'll be able to flourish and walk in our ministry and walk in our purpose and do all that God's called us to do and receive all of God's blessings if we are willing to humble ourselves, willing to be humbled before Almighty God. You got to be willing to fall on your face. In our text, number 16, you can start going there while we're talking number 16. We're talking about Moses and his character. Moses knew exactly what it meant to be humbled before God, to be humiliated before people, but still come out triumphant in the end. So I want to share with you what it means to fall on your face, what it means to be humbled before God so that you can win in these difficult spaces with those difficult people. So will someone please read Numbers chapter 16. Let's start with verses 1 through 4. Somebody will read that. Numbers chapter 16. verses 1 through 4.
Okay. Numbers 16, 1 through 4.
Yes, please.
One day, Korah, son of Izhar, a descendant of Kohath, son of Levi, conspired with Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, son of Peleth, from the tribe of Reuben. They incited a rebellion against Moses, along with 250 other leaders of the community, all prominent members of the assembly. They united against Moses and Aaron and said, "You have gone too far. The whole community of Israel has been set apart by the Lord, and he is with all of us. What right do you have to act as though you are greater than the rest of the Lord's people?" When Moses heard what they were saying, he fell face down on the ground.
So, people once again are dogging old poor Moses. Moses is trying to just do what God called him to do, y'all. It's difficult. Anybody see the difficult people that's around Moses? Who you think you is? You ain't no better than us. You ain't God's chosen one. Who you think? God has set the entire community apart to be the pastors. That's what, just see that there? The whole community of Israel has been set apart by the Lord. We the lead. We can lead ourselves. Ooh. Anybody got kids that think they the mama? Kayla, look now. I'm the daddy. 3 years old. What you talking about? Anybody on your job second guess you? Anybody second guess the work that you do? Say that you ain't qualified. Help me, Holy Ghost, to be here. Use a $10 words to try to trip you up. Wish I had somebody to prove to you that you aren't legitimate enough to be in leadership. You too young to do this. You too old to do this. You're not educated enough to be here. You don't talk well enough, to be here. Ooh, y'all. Had a meeting today, y'all, on my job, trying to present what we had presented. Ooh, they came for me. They came. Can I tell you, they came for me? You do not deserve to be here. Who you think? You don't have the stuff we got. You don't have the experience. You don't have the degrees. You don't have. Are you sure you can do this? That was one of the questions asked to me in public. Are you sure you can do this? Anybody have any similar experiences? You know.
Oh wow, how many times? You know, but I used to love it. I used to, now I've mellowed out, but I used to love it when they'd come after me. Because see, I worked in a completely redneck environment, completely. And all of them were basically, most of them that I worked with were not as educated. They thought they were. But I used to love it because I wouldn't say anything. You know, I would just smirk and I said, well, yeah, you know, like they said, well, and I even had one person that told me, you just got this job because of, you know, affirmative action anyway. So, you know, you don't, see, and I love them kind of ignorant folks. You know, I used to love them because what I would do, I really wouldn't say a whole lot at, you know, I wouldn't say a whole lot in the meeting. I would wait and get with them individually. Hey, I didn't want no witnesses. You know how the mob say, don't leave no witnesses? I didn't want no witnesses. So I'd get with them on a one-on-one and I'd get them told. But in the meeting, I wouldn't say anything. And I just kind of let one thing I learned from my mother and father, you let your work speak for you. You know, you don't have to defend what you know, especially the people that don't know.
Right.
You don't have to defend it. You let your work. So I would just say, well, you know, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
And I just go on, and your work then begins to kind of show who you are. But I mean, you're gonna have them folks, and you're talking about trying to launch a new innovative academic stream with the Black doctors. I mean, number one, they don't want you out there in the first place. They don't want that many Black doctors running around anyway. So bottom line, you are a threat to their establishment. So they're going to really come after you. But like I said, you just got to hold fast. What you say, be ye steadfast and unmovable, because the work will speak for itself in the long run. See, they want to beat you down with them words. Hey, but I mean, you know, like I said, you hold fast to God and just let your work speak for you. And you ain't got to really say a word. Just tell them, well, we know time will tell. It will, you know, we're going to keep working. I understand your sentiments and your hesitation, but we're going to go ahead and move forward with this.
That's good. That's good. Any other similar situations you want to share? So yeah, so as they came for Moses, what did the Bible say he did? The first thing he did when they came for him,
he just fell face on the ground.
Bible says he fell on his face.
Mm-hmm.
What scripture are we in, Pastor?
We are in Numbers chapter 16. We're looking at verse 4 right now. Numbers chapter 16. And we're looking at verse 4.
Okay.
He probably fell down. He probably fell down saying, Lord, help me.
And you know, the thing that I caught in there also was that you know, it said that the whole community, they told him that the whole community of Israel has been set apart by the Lord. And then the thing that got me in it said that, and he is with us.
Woo. Jesus. Lord.
Then that's when they went into what right. That's when they went into telling them off to him. What right do you have?
I mean, that shows that they may have genuinely believed they they all been called to do the job. They believe that the Lord was with them.
Yeah.
So that's what gave them. I guess they felt that gave them the authority to talk to Moses. What right do you have to think you're greater than the Lord's people? So yeah, first thing he did was fall on his face. Somebody tell me why Moses fell on his face. I mean, let's be honest, y'all. He just fell on his. Is that not humiliating to just people coming at you? You just fall on your face, lay prostrate. Why did Moses choose to humble himself, to humiliate himself before the people? A couple of reasons. Why would he do that? Why would he fall on his face?
Part of it, I believe, was just like knowing the Bible. We come to our face the Lord. It just shows that, in my weakness. I think it's in my weakness he is made strong. So that's kind of like what I kind of put that in. But I don't know if that's the context though. But
yeah, that's when we get out of our flesh. But let's start with us. When people come for you, call you out, embarrass you publicly in front of folks, dog you, say you ain't qualified, say you ain't legitimate. What's the first emotion you feel?
Oh, anger.
Thank you. Don't act like that you are saved, sanctified, and ain't got no anger. Okay? I'm saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. But yes, I be angry sometimes. And folks come against me. That's the first thing that comes to Moses, is his own anger. Before we deal with other folks and what they did to you, all right, and what you think they deserve. Let's start with us. Moses was angry, okay? And I can tell that because of verse 15. Somebody, what does verse 15 say?
Then Moses became very angry
Thank
and
you.
said,
That's all I need. Then Moses became very angry. How many know that angry precedes very angry? That you don't get very angry until you get angry first. Until something has happened before. And Moses was very angry in verse 15 because of his anger right here in verse 3. The first, Moses got on his face to deal with his anger. That's the first thing we got to do. That's what falling on your face. First thing we got to do when it comes to falling on our face, we got to deal with us. Remind me again, why do we got to deal with us first? Why do we got to deal with our anger first? Okay.
You know, being angry, it's puts a barrier there between you and God.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But even more so, anger will cause us to act in a way that we will regret. We said it on the last week. What happened to Moses? The time that Moses did not deal with his anger. There was one time that Moses, there's a couple times, but what was the big tragedy in Moses' life? Because he did not deal with his anger.
He disobeyed God. He wasn't allowed to see the promised land.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The scripture says Moses was so mad at the people. He was so mad that he said, must we fetch you water, people of Israel? Because I'm tired of y'all. So what did he do? He hit the rock and said, spoke to the rock. And God said, you did not sanctify me before the people. God said, you didn't cause no water to come from no rock. It ain't no we. God said, it was me. It was I who caused water to come from the rock, and you did not glorify me from the people. Therefore, Moses' punishment was that he did not get to go into the promised land because he didn't deal with that anger. He lost the opportunity to go to the promised land. If you don't deal with your anger will make you lose out on your promised land.
I think about this. I was talking to my brother one time, and he was telling me about a particular situation. There are plenty of people, that were in prison and in the graveyard because they couldn't control their anger, or they made one, split decision that changed their life forever, or they even lost their life. Either was something that could have been something as petty as, or it could be something petty, it could be something big or small. Like we see it all the time, road rage. When somebody cuts you off in the middle of traffic, you trying to get home, long day,
Yep.
anger sets in. It's just like, okay, you do your opportunity to flick the person off, or do, sometimes you see road rage cases where the folks will knock you off the road, then the other person end up dying because, you know, because of a split-second decision. So that's where your kind of your anger can literally, you know, change the course of your life.
Yeah, no, anger can make you lose your life. Okay, anger can one split of anger, and all road rage is built up anger from spaces before. We need to understand that anger builds. That if we don't deal with it, it's a poison that slowly poisons and takes away our joy to the point where there's no more space in the trash because we ain't emptied the trash. Emptying our anger is like emptying the trash. If we don't empty that trash is going to just explode. We got to practice emptying out our anger so that we don't get to a space where we just explode. So I believe that that Moses fell on his face. Let me deal with me first. Let me deal with my stuff. That's why if you don't deal with it, it can make you lose your purpose, your promise. It can make you quit your job before it's too soon. It will make you miss out on your promotion. It will make you miss out on your financial increase. If you don't deal with anger, it will make you miss out on fulfilling your purpose, your promise, your ministry. It will make you forfeit the blessings that God has for you. If you don't do the work of emptying out the trash can, it will take everything, every blessing, every piece of joy that you got. So the first thing we got to do is fall on our face. When folks come up against you, fall on your face and deal with you and forgive them. Don't act in anger. Don't cuss them out. Don't passively, aggressively get them back. Okay? Fall on your face and deal with anger. Second reason I believe Moses fell on his face this first time, because if you read throughout the passage, Moses falls on his face 3 times. We're talking about the first time right now, is to seek God's direction. Somebody read verses 5 through 7. Numbers 16, 5 through 7, please. Number 16, 5 through 7.
I don't have the NLT. I don't have the NLT, but I can read.
That's fine.
5, verse 5.
Yeah, through 7.
And he spoke to Korah and all his company, saying, tomorrow morning the Lord will show who is his and who is holy, and will cause him to come near to him. That one whom he chooses, he will cause to come near to him. Do this, take sense, Korah and all your company. Put fire in them and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord chooses is the Holy One. You take too much upon yourself, you sons of Levi.
So right after he falls on his face, he deals with himself. And I also believe that he asks the Lord for direction. How should I deal after we forgive, after we release that anger, after we have done the work of acknowledging it and letting it go? Our next step is to not get up and now do whatever we think is best. But our next step is to seek God's direction. How should I deal with the opposition that is coming up against me? What is it, God, that you want me to do in response to what's happening to me? Because right now, your child, folks are coming up against your child. Hmm. So what did it do? God gave him a plan. Yeah, see what he told him to do?
Yeah.
So tomorrow the Lord will show us who belongs to him.
Mhm.
To light the fires and burn the incense. Then we will see whom the Lord chooses as his holy one. Right after he fell on his face, the Lord gave Moses direction of what to do. So here was God's plan. God's plan was to show the opposers who he chose to be put in the office of leadership. That was God's plan. God's plan was to show them, the opposers, that he chose Moses to lead the people. Let me say it like this. You don't have to prove to nobody that you are legitimate. And the Lord spoke that into my spirit. I just had to get up and shout. I was in the office. I couldn't be too loud. I couldn't, shout like I wanted to. But I said, thank you, God, because I ain't got to prove to nobody that you put me in. I ain't got to prove that to nobody. I don't have to prove to nobody that I am legitimate. God will do that. Moses said, the Lord will show you. The Lord will show you whom he has chosen as his holy one. He will show you who can come into his presence.
Mhm. I went and applied for a job at UMKC, and I was in college at the time, and I was going to be assessing infants 0 to 1 who had been born addicted to drugs and alcohol. And so the man I interviewed with was like, okay, well, where's your degree? I said, I'm working on it. And he said, well, everyone here has a degree. I said, okay. And he said, okay, what? I said, okay. And so he said, well, why should I hire you? I said, because I would be an asset and it would be your loss if you didn't. He said, oh, wow. Okay. I said, okay, what? He said, let me call my secretary and set you up for orientation. And I worked for that company for 6 years. So you're talking about God opening up some doors, and he will make them see that you're legitimate, whether you're legitimate or not. He will open up that door. If he opened it, can't nobody close that door. And I was like, wow. I walked out of there saying, wow, I got it, But I was trusting God that I was going to get that job. And I did. And I went on and graduated and got my degree. So yeah, he'll do that.
Absolutely.
But I was real humble when I went in there, and I had prayed and prayed and prayed. I said, I'm gonna go apply for this job. And if it's for me to have, God's gonna give it to me. And my daughter said, well, Mommy, you're not done with your degree. I said, girl, did you just hear what I said? So I got it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Like God will show them, like you said, God will show them.
Yeah.
That's what it said. It said it right there. Tomorrow morning, the Lord will show us who belongs to him, and who is holy.
That's right.
God will devise a spectacle. He will create a scene. He will create a demonstration. All right. So that your opposers, there won't be any doubt that after he does what he does, that they will know who God is and who God sent. People who oppose his representatives, they are opposing the one who placed them there. Am I hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People who oppose the representatives are just like you working for a company. You get customers that oppose you. They're not opposing you, they're opposing the company.
Right.
And you can rely on the company to do whatever they need to do for that customer. Same way with God. That's why we don't have to speak for ourselves, because they're not opposing you. They're opposing God. Anybody hear what I'm saying? They're opposing the company.
So let me get it straight. They're opposing the representative, but not you, right?
Say it again.
I said they're opposing the representative, not you, per se.
The Bible tells us that in Romans 13, that when we rebel against those who he have placed in authority, we were rebelling against God. Because God placed us in position. We're working on God's behalf. You're working on God's behalf. Wherever God's placed you, you're a representative of God. You ain't God. You're representing him. And when people oppose you, they're opposing the one who placed you there. And God placed you there. So the reason why you ain't got to say nothing, you don't have to open your mouth. God will show them that he put you there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now that makes a lot of sense. And you have to mature into that. That is not something that comes easily, because even though, like in Pat's situation, she got that position, if she had run into some opposition, and I believe God had put me at Harley for a reason, because those people were just horrendous. But you have to grow into that, not saying anything. That's not something that comes easily, even though you know who you're there to represent. Sometimes I would have to go into a conference room and shut the door and talk to myself and pray to myself. Lord, you got to help me, because if I go back out there and that white girl say one more thing to me, then I'm not going to be responsible for what I'm going to say. So I would go in, literally, I would walk away from folks. They be still talking to me. They might even be halfway calling themselves chastising. I said, hold on, wait a minute. I go in there and shut that door. I said, Lord, you got to help me, because I'm about ready to go off, and didn't care who would hear me, and didn't care if they said, Cynthia, you got to go home. Didn't make me no difference. Consequences didn't matter. So you have to really grow and mature into that, being able to react the right way to opposition and to anger from others, and even to anger that even anger that you have in yourself. So that's a constant battle. You're talking about struggling with the old and the new creature. That's a constant battle. Now, of course, I'm much, much better now. I don't have to go in the room and close the door. I just bow my head and say a little quick prayer, and then I just go ahead.
That's
Hey,
good.
thank the Lord for maturity.
Yeah, it takes growth for sure. But the sooner we get it, the easier it is when we get older. The sooner we get that practice, the easier it will be when we get older. So let's get it as soon as we can. But God can transform us no matter where we are, no matter what age we are. God can transform us and touch our hearts and do a redemptive work within us. So I absolutely, it definitely takes maturity and growth. I think a willing heart, a willing to be transformed. That's what it, even if it's difficult for us, if we have a will to say, God, I want to do it your way, God can use that little bit. If we hard-hearted and say, no, God, I'm sorry, I ain't doing it. God can't do it. But yeah, definitely takes growth. But here's, and like, so God will do it. God will show them. We gotta get that in our hearts and spirits. That God will absolutely show them who He is and that He's placed you there. But the catch is, He may not do it immediately. That's the caveat there. He'll show them, but He won't do it immediately. If you look at verse 5, it says, tomorrow morning, the Lord will show us who belongs to Him. Oh my God. God, I ain't got till tomorrow. I wish I had somebody. I don't got till tomorrow. I need you to do it now. I wish I had somebody that's feeling me. I can't wait till next month. I can't wait till next year, God. Oh, how many know the truth is that sleeping on something can make things a little better than they were the day before. I mean, no, if you just sleep on it, all right, just go to sleep, take a nap. Perhaps you might feel a little better. Because a lack of patience in God can, I mean, know that it can be our downfall. That our lack of patience with God can be our downfall. So this is quite humiliating. We talked about being willing to humble yourself before God, to even be humiliated before people, so that you can win in this difficult space with difficult people that you're in. Being willing to be humiliated. It's humiliating for somebody to tell you off. It's humiliating, huh? For people to publicly embarrass you. It's humiliating to not speak for yourself. Is this talking to me? Am I talking to anybody? It's humiliating not fighting for yourself. Huh? Might say, I ain't no punk. It's humiliating having people to publicly embarrass you, walk all over you, and you sit there and say nothing. Am I talking to anybody?
Right. Yep.
But we got to trust that God will show them who He is. So let's take a minute and reflect on these two things. Dealing with anger and seeking God's direction, what we dealt with. Let's start with dealing with your anger. Is this something you practice? Is this something you never practice? Is it something that is difficult for you to practice? I want to get in there. I want us to open up.
I think, you know, we got the flesh and the spirit, and to me, the flesh is always speaking. You know, we was talking about driving and road rage. You know, it just happens to me all the time. Like somebody cut me off today, you know, and that anger arose. And my first thought was to get in behind him and let him know that I didn't like what you did.
Right.
And, you know, that was at first, but, you know, then I reality to kind of set in a more calmer spirit, and so don't go that route.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the thing of it is, the flesh is gonna always speak
Mm-hmm.
most of the time.
I was talking to one of my good friends yesterday, and we talked about kind of this topic, and it's kind of I think it's confirmation just for me to go back and like kind of give him some more information about what we're talking about today. We was talking about how when stuff doesn't go situations don't go our way, or somebody done us wrong, you know, over time you could build up anger, and like you said, Pastor, if you don't like you know give it to God or just let it go, it can fester, build up a bitter root, and then it's like now when you see that person or you see them or you think about it, it makes you mad every time you think about it. That's just because you haven't, let it go, give it to God, and you just have to give it up. Like I myself, you know, I think I done y'all know this. Like my father, I have forgive my father, for what he, abandonment, all that stuff. But sometimes I have to catch myself because you, that anger still comes back. It's like, what he did to you? Like, you gonna let him off the hook? I'm like, and I go back to, the 5 pillars that you have to do, releasing the poison, telling God that, oh, I didn't appreciate what such and such did to me. And, give it to God on the daily practice. Cause, those, if you don't, it's gonna result into that bitter root, and it's not gonna that bitter root could lead to unforgiveness, hatred, and in order for God unforgiveness, in order for God to forgive our sins, we have to forgive those who trespass against us, and we we may never know what happened to that person because the flesh wants us. It's like, oh, you know, I want to see them suffer. I want to see them pay what they did. I want to see them fry. But truth be told, it could be something that somebody done to you when you was a kid, or something that you're still holding on to. Years later, do you really did they thinking about you, what they did to you? That they at home sleep snoring, slobber everywhere, and it's just like, and while you still hold like they did wrong to me, it's like you just have to move on. So that's kind of like my opinion about the topic.
It's very good. I appreciate you taking those 5 pillars of forgiveness and practicing that. Because it's not just about letting it go. Anger always comes somewhere. If
Yeah,
you don't give it to the Lord,
right.
it will always come out in the way that does not please God.
Mm-hmm.
Whether tomorrow or 50 years from now, it will always come out. So when you say, Sam, that you go through the process of acknowledging the anger and giving it to God, forgiving that individual and trusting the Lord, that's your obedience to the Lord. That's out of, because sometimes we don't feel it after we done forgave him. But because of our obedience, God begins to do the work of releasing that poison out of us. Releasing anger is a work of the Holy Spirit. It's only by our obedience that we release the anger, that we forgive individuals. That's pure obedience. And because of our obedience, the Holy Spirit will do the work so that that anger does not make you lose your purpose, and it does not come out on other folks. Other folks who are closest to you, your loved ones, they feel anger that you haven't dealt with. Church folks and people who you're closest around, where you take anger out on yourself, it will always come out in a way that is detrimental to you and others. So, good job. It's good to hear. Good to hear that. Anybody else? Is this something? Is dealing with your anger is something that you practice? You don't practice? You don't know how to practice.
I practice being quiet first. I just don't lash out. I have to. And I don't get angry very often. I try not to let people take me there. But sometimes, I mean, I am human of the flesh. So I pray. I mean, I walked around holding anger in and stress until I had a stroke. And I was like, okay, I won't have another one. But that's because I pray a lot. And even when people make me so angry that I cry, and if I cry, I'm really, really angry. And I just start praying and I don't say anything. I can't, because you're right. I'm going to say something that I'm going to regret when I come to my senses, because I think we kind of go crazy when we get angry. You know, we go to a whole nother field, left field, right field. We don't know what field we're in, but we are really letting people have it. And then when we get done, we look real crazy. You know, I worked on the plaza at a boutique, and a little Jewish lady came in. I was the only Black, of course. This was a long time ago. And she said, I don't want that nigger to wait on me. Man, I was so angry.
Yeah,
I turned around and walked away. But the owner told her, if she can't help you, we don't need your business. And she left. Now, she spent a lot of money there. So I was really shocked that it happened like that. But I was so mad at her. Had I opened my mouth and said what I wanted to say, I wouldn't have had my job, you know? So I had to be quiet. And when we be still, God will do the rest. Just be still and let him help you get through that anger. Because like Sam said, we sitting up mad, steaming, headache, all that. And the other person going on, they don't even know. They may not even know you that mad. And don't care. That's the thing. Don't care that you're mad. So yeah, I just be still. And then if I need to talk about it, I will. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Absolutely. So anger causing health problems, my Lord.
Yes.
It will. It will. It will. I believe there are many people who have health challenges as a result of unresolved anger. Because I believe that emotion can cause physical pain. Because there's even scripture in the word, he'll cause health to your bodies, you know. So there's a connection, you know, between our emotional and physical body. There's a connection there somewhere. And what happens to us, what we go through emotionally can have negative effects on us physically. So yes, we got to deal with that. And also anger can come out in ways where we sin against God. Because anger is always going to come out. It's going to come out in a way where we are doing something we ain't got no business be doing. Because we have not dealt with anger. So anger is a detrimental effect to us. So first thing we got to do is deal with anger. Second thing we say is seek God's direction. In these situations where, you know, you are opposed, where your opposers are against you, do you seek God's direction? Do you act on instinct? Do you say, God, should I respond to this person? Or should I shut up? Or how do I respond to this person? What should I do? Should I say anything? Anybody ever practice that? Or use that in times where you're in those situations? I have. I know I personally have. When I am in situations where people have made me angry, First deal with myself, deal with my anger. And then I ask God, how do I deal with this? Is this something that I need to deal with or not? Sometimes just let it go. Sometimes because it's so detrimental, and it's not just hurting you, it's hurting other folks. When it's hurting other folks, usually you gotta have a step in and say, you know what, this is hurting me. Yes, it's hurting me, but I can't allow, I don't want to not say nothing. And you not understand that what you're doing is hurting like more than just me, it's hurting a group of folks. Usually in that situation, God will say, yeah, you need to deal with that. Any other experience with that?
What I learned over the years is that usually what you are angry about or who you're angry with, they've gone on about their business. They haven't given it a second thought, and that anger is eating you up, and they done gone on. So I've learned that, hey, like you said, after you sleep on it, pray about it, and the next day it's gone, because the person usually for the most part, the people that made you angry, they done moved on. They don't even know, either they didn't know, or even if they did it intentionally, they ain't worried about it. They've already inflicted the pain, and it's up to you how you react to it. And so now sometimes I have to give it a day. I can't get over it right there at the moment. I got to give it some time, and then, but that next day you be like, well, whatever, just go on, because like I said, they've released it. You caught it. So it's what you deal with it and how you handle it is how you, I go back and say, now, Jesus wouldn't harbor this, so he don't need me harboring it. But like I said, that that takes some. You got to stay prayed up in order to make sure that happens. Because if you let your flesh take over, then you just gonna be messed up.
For sure. And the more you grow in Christ, the more and more God will not allow you to hold on to anger. The more and more that anger is more present and more visible. More and more things will happen in your life. Things will pop off in your life that God's trying to get you. Hey, deal with that. The more you go in Christ.
Hey, but I'm like Pat always says, now don't get it twisted now. I ain't gonna be no punching bag, and I ain't gonna be somebody you can just say anything you want to do. So let's not get it twisted now. Yes, I'm a saint, but I mean, I can go there with you.
Hopefully you're going with me in Jesus' name.
Hey, I right. Kill them with kindness.
That's right. That's right.
Last question: Has anybody seen God demonstrate or show your opposers, who He is and that He's placed you in your position? Anybody experienced that in your life? Where God showed up and showed them who He was without you saying, Anybody ever seen that?
Say that again.
We talked about in the Word where God will show your opposers and demonstrate to them who He is and that He put you in that place, that He put you in that position. He will show them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to know, have you experienced that where you've seen God show your opposers, that He put you in place?
I think for me, I can go back even to when I was married. Mm-hmm. My husband was an alcoholic, and he would go, I don't know what field he was in, but he would go somewhere and start talking crazy. And it would really, really annoy him when I did not say anything. And then I would sing, "There's Room at the Cross." And that annoyed him even more. for real. Why do you have to sing that song? And I still would not say anything. I would just keep singing. And eventually he would go to sleep. So the next morning he would wake up. We're talking about the next morning, showing him who God is. He would say, okay, what did I say? You're not talking. I still would not say anything. I said, you know what you said, and I'm done. Yep. And so that was a long time ago.
Mm.
But that is where I experienced some of that. And I honestly would start singing There's Room at the Cross. Be in the kitchen, cooking, washing dishes, whatever. Just be singing. Praise God. He got to the cross before he left here. But yeah. And that's how I handled that. Now, sometimes I didn't want to handle it like that. I like that don't get it twisted stuff, because I knew how to talk crazy just like he did, but it wasn't going to accomplish anything. So I just didn't say anything.
And we're going to make things worse.
Yep.
And it going to put you in no better place with God and other person. Never. It never does. It never does.
No.
Acting on it. Does nobody no good.
Mm-mm.
And you may feel good in the moment, but later on, like, bang.
Yeah.
All right, that's some good stuff. Thank you all for being here tonight and participating in Bible study. Let us bow our heads as we leave this place. Lord, we thank you for your presence. Thank you for your word. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to study together. God, we thank you, oh God, for your grace and mercy that you've shown us. God, we ask that you would give us strength to deal with those places of anger, Lord God. Some of us are in difficult spaces with difficult people, Lord Jesus. Some of us, God, are being opposed even as we speak. Some of us, God, are being intentionally retaliated against. God, but we pray, oh God, in those situations that you give us strength, Lord God, to deal with the ways in which we have been angered, oh God, to deal with those spaces, oh God, where we have been offended. Help us, oh God, to release anger, God. Realize that anger is a poison and that it's the enemy's tool to steal our joy, to steal our purpose, to steal, God, our ministries and our families, oh God. Anger, God, has caused so much damage in our community. God has caused so much damage in our families, so much damage in our church, Lord God, so much damage in our relationships. Now we desire that anger no longer has that power and that control over us, God, as a people, as a church, as family members, oh God. We desire, oh God, that your forgiveness and grace, oh God, would reign and rule and rest and abide in our hearts and in our relationships, oh God. We pray, oh God, that your joy, oh God, would be infused, God, within us, Lord Jesus. God, there's so much hurting and so much pain, oh God. We desire, God, to be a people, oh God, of joy that would spread your joy, that would spread your peace, and that would spread your love. Oh God, so empower us, Heavenly Father, to deal with those spaces. God, and when we're in those spaces, help us to seek your direction, what you would have us to do. God, we love you today. Speak to us, God. Empower us, oh God. Encourage us, God, and we shall know what we should do. And we believe that you will show, oh God, our upholders who you are and that you place us in the same spot. God, we give you thanks and praise and honor and glory in Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 God bless you.
I didn't make it to Bible study, but I want to ask prayer for Jana, who is going to surgery on Friday. So
Yeah,
please keep her lifted up in prayer, because they're doing 2 surgeries at the same time. So she's kind of anxious, and then mom is having to move out of the house and go to her son's house. So just want to pray for Mother Brown too, because she's not understanding why she can't stay home. Why she can't stay at home. So she's going to be home for 3 days, but Jana will be probably in the hospital in ICU for 3 days, and then in the rehab hospital for another week. So please keep her lifted up in prayer.
We'll do. We did lift her up
Oh, good.
in our
Okay.
prayer meeting, but we'll continue to do so throughout this week. So thank you.
All
for
right. Okay. Thank you.
Th-
Have a
Good
good night.
Thank you,
Good night.
Pastor. Good night.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Night, buddy.
Night.